Hi, my name is Gwen Peterson. I'm a certified independent health coach with Optavia and a global director. If this is the first time you've stumbled upon my channel, welcome. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button so that you receive notifications every time I load a new video. If you also haven't already, make sure to come on over to Facebook and join my closed group called Gather with Gwen. And if anything I say in this video offers value, I would appreciate you clicking like, because the more likes a video has, the more people will find it to offer them value as well. So you're about to watch a video that is a little unorthodox because I've had many people ask me to video blog me traveling to Florida for my daughter's dance performance at Universal Studios. Now I'm going to front load this with, I am currently in the weight loss phase on the program, but I also am not a good traveler and I get very motion sick. So normally I end up eating a lot of carbs through the travel day, which then makes that following day rough for me because now I have all these carbs in my body, and then it's kind of like my brain does what it always does. Well, then if I'm already out of fat burn, then what's the point? And blah, 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 all that dialogue. Comment below if that dialogue of once I'm out of fat burn, I'm out of fat burn trips you up. Throw that in the comments below. So I decided to test this out, and you guys get to come along for the ride, that I know that if you balance your carbs and your protein, you are not filling your liver with more sugar or glycogen stores to then kick you totally out of fat burn. But at the same time, having more carbs than normal still might kick you out of fat burn. So my point of this video is, do not follow this as the way to actually stay in fat burn or lose weight. I'm showing you what I purposely did, trying to increase my carbs a bit, paired with protein and or fats, so that I wasn't eating a ton of carbs, but giving my body more calories to try to make me feel okay while I travel. So, like I said, this is not a 5-in-1 video. This is you guys getting to hear how my brain works on how to eat per motion sickness for my body, to also try to stay in a quasi fat burning state, meaning my goal every day was to make sure my carbs were lower than my fat and my protein. Okay? So again, I know this is gonna spark a lot of questions. My reminder to you is, if you are trying to lose weight, I would not try to incorporate more fat or more protein to try to stay in fat burn or whatever. I'm just saying this was my means to my end on how to try to get through traveling without ending up at the pretzel store in the airport because I was feeling so nauseous. Now you'll find by the end it did work, and stay tuned. Make sure you have clicked that subscribe button because I videoed or photoed everything I did all 4 days I was in Florida. So you're gonna wanna watch all those videos to see what my outcome was at the end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching what I do and how my brain works on just trying to get through traveling with not getting sick and not going totally off the rails with carbs. See you guys over in my video. At the airport. It is, what time is it? 6:40. Our flight boards at 7:30, leaving at 8:10. So as I'm video blogging all of this, this is not normal for me. All right, so I did my mocha shake this morning. As you guys saw the photo, there's no voice because at 4 in the morning, I cannot talk, or 5 in the morning, or 6 in the morning. Well, it's almost 7 now. But I did do the mocha shake, and by the way, because I only got 4 hours of sleep last night, I purposely got on the scale, and shocker, I'm up 2 pounds. But it's not real weight. Your body doesn't reset when you don't get enough sleep. So between the amount of Diet Coke I had yesterday and not enough sleep, the scale goes up. That's just the reality of it. If you have any questions about that, go read Dr. A's chapter on sleep in the Habits of Health book, and it explains exactly why. So now we are at the airport. She has already done Starbucks.
I have Starbucks and I got, so this is a pink drink.
A pink drink.
And I got it's a double bacon cheddar egg muffin and there's a Sprite over there.
Yep, Sprite. All right, so that's what she's gotten, and then for me, it's about time for me to eat again. But I have a really fun thing about flying where I get sick. I get very motion sick, and yes, I have tried the oils. I've tried the wrist things. I've tried everything, the patches. So I will be taking Dramamine. I normally find that the carbs are what settles my stomach, but what I am going to do is I'm going to head over to Starbucks and get these egg thingies that they do have a lot of fat in them, but they have more protein than carbs. I'll put a screenshot of what I'm ordering, because just to let you think through how I'm doing this is anything that I eat, it will be focusing on higher protein, higher fat, but lower carbs. But also, just so I have something to grab, in the airport, they had a whole wall, which I'll screenshot, of jerky. So I grabbed this one because only the original is the one with the least amount of carbs. So the back of this label, I don't even know if you can see that. It basically has 80 calories a serving, 1 fat. Yes, it has 6 carbs, but it also has 11 protein, where the teriyaki and all the other brands had more carbs than protein. So anyway, I'm just putting this in my bag so that I have it. I also am bringing maintenance bars, because they do have more carbs than normal, because my goal is to try to keep my blood sugar balanced, keep my carbs lower than my protein and fat, and that's the goal here. So I'll kind of screenshot. I don't know, I guess plug everything I'm doing into MyFitnessPal, because when I travel, I can't do the 5-in-1. I am not a good traveler. I don't feel good most of the time when I fly with the motion sickness. And then, yes, we're going to be on roller coasters the whole time. So what?
Because of me, because I don't have a sibling here.
Yeah, so anyhow, we're meeting her dance group. Anyhow, all right, well, I will go live a little, or I'll do videos a little later as we get going on the plane. So here's that wall of the jerky options. And if you're ever in a situation where you are needing to find a grab and go at a gas station or something like that, and jerky is what you're trying to grab, just make sure that you are choosing the one with the lowest carbs, lowest sugar. They use a lot of brown sugar and a lot of honey to sweeten jerky, and the carbs are through the roof. So that's why I chose the one that was the original, because it had the least amount of carbs out of all the options that were on that wall. Okay, so like I said in the video, at the airport, every time I fly, I get really sick. And in the last couple of years, the only thing that has worked for me was to eat carbs so that I would feel fine while I flew and not be miserable for half of the day once I had landed. So my goal was to, instead of do carbs like I always have and throw me totally out of fat burn, I was going to try to choose protein with fat built in, because when I've tried protein by itself, it does not work. So looking at these two options, just so you can hear my methodology to the madness for myself with my illness of flying, my motion sickness, the cheese and crackers and meat thing had 270 calories. The Starbucks thing has 300. But the cheese and crackers thing only has 13 grams of protein versus the Starbucks having 19 grams of protein. So that gives me 6 more grams of protein in the Starbucks little egg thing, where the cheese and crackers thing only had 12 grams of fat versus 20 from the Starbucks. So that gave me an extra 8 grams of fat, hoping to settle my stomach. And then the difference between the carbs was only 1 carb between the two. And it was only 10 carbs versus 9 carbs. So that Starbucks thing, 19 protein, 20 fat, which we know 20 fat is too high. So while the 20 grams of fat normally would not be a great choice, it's definitely better than 20 grams of carbs, because those carbs will throw you way out of fat burn, where at least the fat technically maybe might keep you in fat burn, but for sure those carbs would throw you right out. So guess what, guys? The Starbucks for the win. I flew, felt great. When we landed, I felt great, and it worked, and it was only 9 carbs, so it didn't, in a sense, throw me out of fat burn, because carbs are what throws you out of fat burn. Some of you may not know what this bar is that I'm holding in this fueling number 3 photo. Those are our maintenance bars. They're called Optimal Health bars, and the Dream bar is the one that I'm holding up. The reason why these are not approved in the weight loss phase is because they have double the carbs and double the protein and double the calories of our fuelings. But I accidentally ordered these a couple months ago. I don't even know how I did that, but I set them aside knowing that I was going to plan on using these when I travel. Because as I mentioned before, carbs are what normally settles my stomach when I travel, but I really knew that I wanted to stay the course. So instead of going and getting, let's say, a pretzel or something like that that normally does settle my stomach, I wanted to see if using these bars that have double the carbs, but they're paired correctly with protein, would at least stabilize my blood sugar and make me feel better. So that's what I did for fueling number 3. Then you'll see, unfortunately, 3.5 hours later, due to getting out of the airport and all that, so I was a half an hour late, I had another one of those bars. I was feeling a little bit off. So again, instead of going and getting carbs that I knew would immediately settle my stomach, I decided to have another one of these bars, and it worked. So then as we move forward to my lean and green for the day, where we were staying did not have very great options. So I purposely chose a hamburger with cheese. Of course, I removed the bun and did not eat the fries that came with it. And knowing that patty was not nearly enough protein, my brain, because I'm walking you through how my brain thinks, I knew that I had gotten extra protein from both of those maintenance bars, so I didn't worry about getting a second patty during this lean and green. And of course, that salad that was there, I took the croutons off and ate that with a salad dressing that was white, because this white salad dressings, they normally do not add sugar. So even though I know that I was over in fat on the day, I know that will work, because at least I'm not adding extra carbs that are not balanced. So that was my lean and green. And then you're going to see fueling number 5, if we want to call it that, was another one of those Starbucks muffins. It was blasted hot. I wasn't feeling very great. I had forgotten to bring my Propel packets with me, and that was in Disney Springs. We had hoped to get into some sort of a restaurant to eat something, and every restaurant was packed. So we went into Starbucks, got a water. My daughter got another one of those infuser thingies, and this is what I chose at 8:30, because I figured that the fat would help me feel better when I didn't have electrolytes with me. Then you'll see that last fueling, which was 3 hours later. So you can see my day wasn't exactly accurate in terms of every 3 hours, but my goal, like I mentioned from the beginning, is this 5-in-1 approved? Absolutely not. This is not the way to lose weight. But for me, this is what I had to figure out in order to not do my default of all of the extra carbs that helps me on a travel day. So basically, ironically, when I went through, I will post the last photo of what my nutrition ended up for the day. My whole goal was that my carbs were lower than my protein and fat, and that technically, does that keep you in fat burn? I honestly can't tell you, but what I do know is ratio-wise, as long as my carbs weren't high and I wasn't filling my liver with more carbs than protein or fat, was my ultimate goal. So what I'm saying is, if you're trying to lose weight, this is not what I would suggest for you to do. You most likely will gain weight doing this. But I knew my normal way I lose weight or way I travel is carbs, and I gain through the roof. So my whole goal through the next 4 days was just making sure I was either eating those maintenance bars to get carbs in, paired correctly with protein, or eating something like these Starbucks muffins that, yes, they have too much fat, but they do not have too many carbs. So I know this is gonna provoke a lot of questions. Again, not 5-in-1 approved. This is not how you lose weight. I just had a lot of people asking me how I do travel, and because I'm so motion sick, this was what my attempt was for travel days. And I can tell you, by the time I went to bed, I had not gone and gotten extra carbs, and I actually felt great for the day. So stay tuned for day 2, where we went to Disneyland all day and what I did there. See you guys soon. Bye.